What president are we on?
We just
Carter.
got done with, well, maybe we're done.
Yeah, so this is what Carter did. He put on a sweater. He said, cool it, guys. Put on a sweater. And people said, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, that's...
I rank the Iranian hostages.
Now that was how long was that? How many days was that? Isn't that a specific?
I have no idea. It was a bunch of days.
400, I don't know.
A lot of days.
Whatever it was, I was told like pretty much day 1 or 2 into Reagan. They were like, no more.
No, so Reagan got to take credit for Carter more than anything wanted to free the hostages before he left office. And he actually did that. He was up all night for several nights. He was haggard. There's a great story about the day of Reagan's inauguration that Carter went to get him. That's the tradition, is the sitting president goes and collects the new president and escorts him. So the story was that he went to Reagan's hotel room where he was staying, and him and Nancy were... Reagan was putting on his tie and Nancy was getting dressed, and it was like fuck smell in the room.
Oh no!
Story. I remember reading this somewhere.
Which you have to.
The Carter was like, they fuck. They're like in it.
Stinks like sex in here.
Yeah,
these two
fucked.
These freaks.
Yeah,
they power
came
hungry.
all over her.
Horny from the power.
Yes.
He just assumed.
He gave her another pearl necklace.
Yes.
And so that was the thing.
Wasn't there a thing coming out with Nancy was good at giving head?
Yeah, recently.
I don't know what that was.
Nancy
I didn't
Reagan,
really look into it.
Frank Sinatra says that a very important secret to singing is that you eat an apple and you wait an hour and then you throw it up because it creates a gravel in your throat. It gives you texture. He learned this from Nancy Reagan. There's only one way that a woman would learn this trick is because she's fucking bulimic. One day she ate an apple. She threw up, and then she's like, I sound great. So the next time she worked with Sinatra, she's like, you should do, Frank.
Yeah.
And she spread it as like a trick of the trade. That was Nancy Reagan. She probably did it with cum, too. I don't know.
Yeah, I think she did it with cum.
These people are all dead, so it's fine.
Yeah.
But so Nancy and Ron, Jimmy Carter had this in his unsleeping, had this little observation that Reagan was grumpy on the inauguration. He didn't feel like doing it, and that they had just fucked. And then they all got in the limo together, and Jimmy got the news that the hostages were being freed, but Reagan got to announce it. So Ronald Reagan is...
Yeah, it's funny. I get all these legends from my Republican family.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I'll tell you what, that pussy Carter couldn't get it done. Day 1 of Reagan.
That's right. Well,
those Muslims knew.
Yeah.
You don't fuck with a Republican.
That's right. So Reagan, and I heard this, my legend, so who knows which one's real. But Reagan was a fascinating president, 2 terms. There was... I
got one. Did Nixon start the war on drugs? I think it was Nixon. I know Reagan. Reagan was huge on it.
Yes, Nancy Reagan said, "Just say no."
Yeah,
which was hated because people were addicted to drugs.
Yeah.
Also, AIDS started with Reagan, and Reagan. I mean, he was the first AIDS. He fucked a monkey. He fucked Bonzo.
He fucked the monkey.
There's a bunch of movies about him and a monkey. Yeah, he fucked Bonzo. Bedtime for Bonzo. He fucked Bonzo.
That's where Bedtime for Bonzo comes from?
Nancy, I think I got AIDS from. So Reagan, he was. There's a piece of footage of Reagan. There's a documentary about Huckleberry Finn, and it's about how it gets banned and then refound and banned throughout history. Huckleberry Finn has been banned by liberals who don't like the N-word, and then conservatives who don't like whatever they have.
The N-word.
Problem. It just keeps going back and forth.
Yeah.
And Mark Twain, there's some quote where Mark Twain said, I knew when I created Huck, he'd get in trouble his whole damn life. He knew that this was going to happen. Okay, so there's a character in Huckleberry Finn. I'm going to say his name. His name was Wow. That was his name. Now this won't be on YouTube. It'll just get.
Yes.
So, there's footage of Reagan, doing some tribute to Mark Twain, and whatever he's doing, he's opening a center or something, and he says, he goes, and who could forget the wonderful stories of Huckleberry Finn and his friend Jim. And you can see him look off, and you know that there's guys going, we talked about this? Like, don't say it, Mr. President. But that's it. I mean, I read the books. That's his name, fellas. You can't say it. Oh, well, geez. I mean, that makes no sense. It's in the goddamn book. And so that you can see it.
Don't say that
and
word.
His friend, Jim.
Yeah.
Fuck this country. God damn it.
Yeah, don't say that. But then go ahead and do the war on drugs.
Yeah.
Don't say that word.
Yeah. But so Reagan was, his whole he was president of SAG, and then he was governor of California. Hated hippies, just fucking hated them so much.
I gotta be honest. I think I would have too.
I think I probably would have hated. I mean, George Harrison hated hippies.
Yeah,
George Harrison. There's an interview with him where he went to Haight-Ashbury. He was like, I heard they're all, and he was like, they were just disgusting drug addicts. So yes, hippies are gross. They always were. So Reagan, I mean, there's so much about Reagan. For fuck's sake, he 2 terms, and George Bush was his vice president. Cold War, Mr. Gorbachev, take down this wall.
Yes.
And he called the
Gipper.
Soviet Union the evil empire.
Yeah.
And then there was that crazy, when they went to Reykjavik, like they got really close. He did have an obsession with bringing down the proliferation of nuclear weapons. It was something that he cared about. And so they had a treaty. They had a shot at a treaty. And they flew to Reykjavik, Iceland, the 2 of them. And it was this exciting time where there might be this treaty signed. And then there was this awful midnight footage, which you can also see, of the 2 of them leaving at the same time. And Reagan's going, nah. And Gorbachev is going like, what do you want from me? Reagan's going, nah, man, no fucking way. And they get in their cars and they leave. And it was like, shit.
Yeah.
It was scary.
We're going to keep nukes.
And it looked like something worse might happen. But Gorbachev was an interesting dude, Something interesting was going on there, different from the other guys.
Yeah.
But so Reagan, I'm trying to remember the thing I was going to say about him. He, Well, he was shot, and I remember that.
Yeah, that's the one I wanted to talk about.
So I went to
that guy's out.
What's that?
He just got out.
Hinckley's out?
Hinckley's out. There's pictures. There's like
Wow.
TMZs taking pictures of him like
think
leaving
if I kill
Subway.
Hinckley, that'll help me?
That'll help. Only if it's for Jodie Foster.
You think if I could, yeah. She's
Somebody's
still around.
Somebody's got to fuck Jodie Foster.
Somebody, I mean, in connection with that.
Yes.
So
What?
What did she say?
That's my
When he
favorite.
got out, apparently she was like, I actually was kind of impressed when he.
No.
I swear.
She said that?
I've heard something else. I heard that she was talking to like Phoebe Cates or somebody.
She was being funny.
And she said to Phoebe Cates, like, hey, nobody ever shot the president for you, honey, or something like that. And there's a million stories about
That's
Jodie
really
Foster taking, which all might be false.
I think, didn't Ed Hinckley, I think he used to call her and like leave voicemails.
I don't know anything about
I think she was in college.
I don't think they had voicemail then.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Answering machine. He would call and be like,
Send her
Jodie.
tapes.
He's like, wait till you see what the fuck
Wait till you see.
I love
Jodie,
you
please
so
watch.
much.
Make sure you're watching TV.
I
went to my
kill him. He just got fucked up.
My mom hated Ronald Reagan, hated him since the 70s, and she saw him coming. There was a thing about Reagan that was like Trump for Democrats, which was, it was like, it's a nightmare scenario. Reagan is a nightmare scenario. It's the end of all things. He is the worst guy in the world. And they had connections between him and white supremacy, like a bunch of them. Like the place he gave his first speech as a candidate is a famous, horrible. It's where the students were
in
killed.
Mississippi.
Yeah, it was like in that. It was like he's standing on their fucking the car that they took out of the mud. Not that, but he was there. So a lot of people made connections with that shit. But people hated Ronald Reagan before he was president. When he won, I remember my mom being deeply disturbed by it. And so there was this feeling he's not a good guy. We have a bad president from some people's point of view. And then other people, you were very aware, fucking loved the guy. I mean, so much. And the mask, the rubber mask of him, what became a thing. And SNL was making fun of him and all this stuff. But there were these people that just absolutely, they loved Reagan without any reason, and some people were on his side, all kinds of stuff. But there's a lot of Democrats who just couldn't stand the guy. But life went on. And then when he got shot, I went to my friend Jeff Drew's house, and he said that the president just got shot. And these are two things I remember watching on live TV again later. One was that, and one was Anwar Sadat being assassinated. The whatever president of, I'm sorry, but I don't remember if it was fucking Egypt or Israel. But it was Sadat was killed, and I was watching it on the news live.
I think it was Israel.
I don't. Well, there was later.
Somebody got shot in Israel.
Yeah, I'm fucking up all the names.
Yeah,
but that was when Clinton was president. So
okay.
Anwar Sadat was on a military. They were having a parade, and there was troops marching in front of him, and they turned around and fucking.
That's got to be Egypt.
I mean, yeah, probably.
That
right?
sounds about.
I mean, it was not through hand grenades. It was his guys. And they turned around and just riddled. There was a bunch of guys like at a dais, like a whole bunch of dignitaries, and they just
what?
And I was watching this. I was watching the live news, and they broke in and said, I mean, somewhat watching. There was a special report that used to be a big thing. Now it's every fucking news break.
Breaking.
Yeah, breaking news. Anwar Sadat is dead. We have footage. It's straight out of the Betacam. And it hasn't been edited. We're going to warn you that this hasn't been edited. And I watched this footage of a guy just watching the fucking parade, and then boom, 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 and then the lens goes down, and then he goes up on the bandstand, and you see a guy holding his own arm with
what the
cut
fuck?
off, and there's like strands of blood and stuff and muscle, and he's holding it and he's dazed, like asking people walking by, like, what do I do with my arm, like that kind of thing, and just blood. I mean, I was a kid and I saw that on TV. And the other thing was Reagan had just been shot when I got to Jeff's house, and we sat down and we watched that footage, 20,000, of him like the dumb and and he got thrown into the limousine, and
Hinckley,
his own guy, jumped on him.
Didn't he kill one of the guys?
He killed a cop. James Brady who was the press secretary, took one to the head and was like this for the rest of his life. And the Brady bill was this big gun. His whole life became about gun control.
How the fuck
the Brady
Hinckley
bill
out,
was
dude?
started by his family, by James Brady, who was Republican, conservative Reagan's press secretary. He was his spokesman. Very, very brilliant guy who suddenly was like this and talk like that, and he would make speeches, and his wife would help him. And the Brady bill was like, of course we're going to pass this, because it was, and a lot of Republicans were in favor of it, but the NRA was just a motherfucker. There was no way to pass it. You looking up James Brady?
No, I'm just looking at how funny Hinckley is now. Look at him. He's just leaving a Subway.
Oh, he looks exactly like me.
He's doing pretty good.
He looks like me. He's got the same body.
Playing guitar.
Good for you, John.
To CNN.
Good boy.
Man who shot Reagan is now posting love songs online.
He's like, I got to get chicks the old-fashioned way. Sing him a song.
Dude, just leaving Subway.
I used to shoot presidents to impress girls, and now I just sing them a song. Like a good old boy.
I hope he gets pussies
What
playing
is he
guitar.
eating there?
It's a Subway, dude. Just get a nice
Subway,
hoagie.
just like Jared. If he keeps eating those, he can get skinny
He's
like
gonna-
Jared and fuck
Now he's
children.
going to get some pussy.
He can be a kid fucking president murdering guitarist. This guy's not done
He's got
building
his
his
chance.
brand. He's still building his brand.
He's got a shot.
I mean, he looks young and healthy.
It's funny to be fat and be like, I'm trying to get pussy. I could
So
either,
you know the story
I could
about
go
him?
To the gym.
That he had, these are the legends. He had dinner at George Bush's house, apparently like a couple of weeks before he shot the president.
No.
Look up John Hinckley and the Bush family. Their families were linked. The Hinkleys, I think, gave money to the Bushes or something like that. But apparently Hinckley was a guest in a Bush house an alarmingly short amount of time before he shot President Reagan. And a very interesting thing about it is that George Bush was where when Reagan was shot? Do you know where George Bush was?
When Reagan was
in
shot?
Texas. He was in Texas. There's this thing about
Wasn't
Texas.
he in Dallas when Kennedy got shot?
That's what folks say. And he was at Texas is this place to like it feels like
He was Skull and Bones.
But Skull and Bones, very big. George Bush, and we'll get to him, but George Bush was a power nerd, and he was a guy who really hated Reagan.
The shooter's father, John Hinckley Sr., was friends with George H.W. Bush.
Yes. So he's like
regular contributors to the Bush campaign.
Yes. How's your son? How's your boy John? Oh, I got to tell you, he's troubled. He's troubled. Troubled, is he? Yeah, I don't know what's going on with him. Maybe I should have a talk with him.
He's like, hey, you want to fuck Jodie Foster?
Oh, he's like, so tell me what's going on. I'm just really into Jodie. I'm just really in love with Jodie Foster. I know that's weird. I'm in love with Jodie Foster. Well, son, you can't just sit on your keister. You got to do something. I mean, what could you do to get her? Well, how should I get? I wrote her letters. I wrote hundreds of letters. A girl like that, she's famous. You got to do something for everyone to see.
Yeah, I'll tell you who she hates.
Do something that's gonna make everybody see.
I just talked to Jodie. You know who she really hates?
I mean, if you were to do something to, you know what they say. Now, was Lennon dead yet? Lennon was 1980. He was shot in 1980.
December 8th.
And when was Kennedy? Well, I mean Kennedy. When was Reagan shot? When was Lennon shot? Important dates.
Reagan was shot in 81.
So Reagan was shot in 81. So right after fucking David Chapman killed Lennon.
Yeah.
And he said, the Beatles changed the world and I changed the Beatles. You know what that Chapman fellow said? I read this in Rolling Stone magazine. He said, the Beatles changed the world, and gosh, they sure did. And I changed the Beatles. That's what he said. So I don't know. I mean, a fella could find someone who's really changing the world. I don't know. I mean, anyone, Stevie Wonder, Ronald Reagan. And
Ronald
Reagan. And maybe have an effect on his life. I mean, what do you. Anyway, so Hinckley was like, I don't know why you're talking about that, but I know what you're saying. And so then he went to his bedroom and he looked in the drawer and he found a gun. He's like, where's this gun come from?
I left something for you.
I left you a little something.
You know what you have to do, son.
Yeah, so if you're the vice president and you have anything to do with the president being shot, you need to be in Texas. Because if there's any sort of we have word that vice president, whatever, and then the governor of Texas is like, we're not extraditing. I'm like, it's the one place he might be able to hole up and maybe even stage a coup from. He's like, no, we're the Republic of Texas now. Like it could work. So Bush is in Texas and he refuses to come to Washington. It was a big deal because he just should have taken over, but he refuses to come to Washington. He's like, I'm not going to show up in the White House while the Gipper's fighting for his life. He made big statements about it. But he stayed away. And it got really chaotic, as we all know. There's a great movie.
How long was Reagan out?
I think a few days, but Nancy. So there's an amazing movie made by HBO called The Day the President Was Shot. Richard Crenna plays Reagan, and Richard Dreyfuss plays Alexander Haig. And it's like a comedy in a way. But anyway, when Nixon was when Reagan, they drove him to George. There's a hospital that's for the president. First of all, the cottage, the White House, they have a emergency room. They have everything there. But he was bleeding. He was spitting blood. So,
Hinckley.
And
Hinckley got him.
He got him. He fucking shot him in the armpit.
President's in a limo.
Shot him. And then he thought his bodyguard jumped on him. And then he said, I think you broke my rib. That's what he thought happened. He said, I think he broke my rib. So they were going to go back to the White House to get him looked at. But then he started spitting lots of blood. And so they went straight to George Washington Hospital, which was just a fucking homeless people out front. And the fucking limousine by itself just screeches up. And they brought a gurney, but the president said, I'm not going in on my back. You're not doing that.
What?
To me. It's true. And he walked in. Like, yeah. And this is great. This movie, the best part is showing him, hello, walking by, and you see this black guy go like, oh shit! Like, oh shit! Like just 80s black guys who are in front of a hospital, like their wife's fucking having a baby and they're smoking. And that's the fucking president. And he's like, hello. And then as soon as he got inside,
Hey, fellas, how are you?
yes, he crumbled. And they got him on the gurney, and they're going, and he came to at one moment because the nurse was holding his hand, and he said, does Nancy know about you and me? And then right before he went under,
a charming devil.
Yes, the doctors, right before anesthesia, they said, because they had to tell him he was the head of the fucking world, and he was in charge, and they didn't know, he's going under anesthesia. And they said, Mr. President, we're going to put you under. We have to get this bullet out of you. And it was an exploding bullet.
Hinckley.
So the doctors were all in danger. Hinckley used an exploding bullet.
What?
And it was next to his heart. It was like leaning against his heart like this, the bullet. And so the doctors said, we got to get this bullet out of you, so I'm going to put you under now. And he said, I hope that you guys are Republicans. And the doctor, who was not a Republican, said, Mr. President, today we're all Republicans. And he saved his life. But he was he was on death's door for a few days. Now, the White House has Alexander Haig saying, I'm in charge here at the White House. He was the Secretary of State. He had no business saying that. He was like, he made up this thing, by the laws of succession, I would be next. It's like, no, you're like 20th down. And meanwhile, at the hospital, Nancy's there with the chief of staff, and there was a battle between the White House and the guys at the hospital. So they needed to prove that Reagan was functioning as a president. So they needed a photograph, and they needed him to do a piece of business. So they had the dairy bill, some bill that's like for dairy subsidies that needed to be signed.
Jackpot for those guys.
Yes. So they're like,
holy shit. We did it, Hinckley! Hinckley, baby, I love you.
Hinckley! That's what it was. It was the milk people. The milk people did the whole
Big
thing.
milk, dude.
For another 15 cents on a fucking carton of milk. So Nancy got enlisted, and they said, you need to do this, and you need to handle him like you handled him in the movies. And so she put makeup on his face, and she like slaps, Ronnie, you gotta wake up. And they leaned his bed up like this, and she just kept trying to wake him up. And this is all in the movie, done very well, but it's true. And they took a picture of him like, dead. There's this picture of him, like a really weird picture that I think did more harm than good. And then he signed
he looks great.
Yeah, he signed the dairy bill. It's a great picture. One great picture is very rare to find of Reagan. He had many operations. He was a very sick and dying old man.
Yeah.
He had some brain, like something taken off his brain or something. So he had half of his head was shaved. And he was coming out of the airplane, and he had a baseball cap on, and he went like this.
Oh no!
And Nancy's going, don't! She's like horrified, and because he thought it was funny. Half his head is shaved. It's creepy. I saw that picture once. I never saw it again. So anyway, Reagan survived, obviously, and then that just was a massive lift.
Yeah,
I was a kid, and my mother hated Reagan, and I was just like, yeah, good, good for you, Everybody was happy for him. Yeah, there it is. There it is.
Oh my God. Yeah,
she's really mad. Yes.
That's
so Reagan,
Iran, is a guy rocking.
Iran-Contra happens. They were there were still some hostages in Iran, and they were offering the Iranians weapons in exchange for hostages and money. And then they were going to use the money to fund the Contras and in El Salvador.
Yeah.
And it was all done by this guy, Oliver
North.
Yeah. Colonel Oliver North. It was Reagan. It was dirty. It was a dirty Reagan thing. And Reagan said, I take responsibility for it, because I'm not sure what I remember that I was told about this, and we're looking into it, but make no mistake, it's my responsibility. Nobody does that anymore.
Yeah.
So he did that, and that kind of got him through it. And it made people believe that he was really looking into it, and then they pinned it all on this guy, who I remember his hearings it was the biggest deal since Watergate. Iran-Contra-Gate. That's what it was the first thing that they said gate about. And Oliver North he said,
thing to add gate.
He said somebody pitched this idea to me of the missiles and then the money. And he said, I thought it was a neat idea. And when everybody heard him say that, it became plausible that this fucking dummy he just was stupid and crazy and that he did it. He later ran for governor of Virginia as a Republican. Might be West Virginia, I'm sorry. But Chuck Todd, who was that lieutenant that sent the tape to Lyndon Johnson's son-in-law, who was thought to be he was supposed to be the next Kennedy, but he had a bad coke habit. But he was cool enough to be a senator. He was senator from, I think, West Virginia for years. And he just didn't care anymore. So there's another great documentary called The Perfect Candidate. And it's a really great, it's a documentary about him running against Oliver North. Decided after all this shit had happened, he's going to run. And it teaches you something about presidential politics. That's why I'm bringing it up. So Chuck Todd was a Democrat. He's like one of these guys you have now, just a machine Democrat. Like there's a scene in the documentary where a reporter asks him, what do you think of furlough programs in prisons? And he goes, what? I didn't say anything about it. I haven't said anything about that. And he goes, well, what do you think about it? He goes, I haven't changed my position on, I have a very good record on crime. And he goes, I'm just asking your opinion.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, I appreciate the work that everybody has done. And he walks away. And the guy's like, I can't even get an opinion out of this guy. That's who is running, right? He's a tool.
Yeah.
And he's the Democrat. And then Oliver North, he announces his candidacy in a black church, all black ladies. And he's this notorious guy. Mm-hmm. And he says, I've made terrible, terrible mistakes in my life. And you hear the black women,
they'll forgive him.
And he goes, and I'm a bad man. I've been a bad man. But there's one thing I love. And that's the people of West Virginia. And he starts crying.
Oh, my God.
And they just love him. They love him. And he's winning he's going to be a senator. Yeah. It's a big deal. And then right at the end of the documentary, Clinton, who is just sweeping the country, comes in and spends like 2 days just going, Chuck Todd is the only man in this. And the black women love Clinton. And he put him over the top. Okay. Reagan gets old. He gets Alzheimer's while he's in office. Nancy Reagan very openly talked about this once he was dead because Alzheimer's became her issue. And so she didn't mind giving his legacy away because it was more important to take care of the disease. So she gave us some great stories. One of them was that she was at she was always at meetings, and he told a funny story, and then ate some chicken, and then he told it again.
Oh no!
Told it twice, and everyone was there. Ed Meese or whoever the guy's in, and she said in his presence, "Do you guys see this?
Yeah.
Does anybody do we see what's happening here?" Because she was really concerned.
Yeah. They're like, no.
So they started having meetings about it. And there's a great story. Reagan's doctor, which you can look it up, decided it was time to talk about it. He examined Reagan, and then he went to Reagan's ranch in California. And Reagan was chopping wood. His body never gave up on him. He was as fucking strong as a piece of oak. He was chopping wood in a red flannel. You could just see this, you know, on his ranch. And the doctor comes up and he says, Mr. President, I got an issue. He says, some of us think that you might be losing your mental capacities. And right now you're okay, but you're declining. And I need to know what to do if I perceive that because I can't talk to you once you lose your mind. Yeah. We can't have this conversation. Maybe in a year or so, I won't be able to have this conversation with you because you won't be cognizant. So while you're still okay, and I think you are, I need instructions from you. What do I do when I believe that you've left the earth. And Reagan just took it as a piece of business. He took off his leather gloves and he said, well, speak to Nancy and speak to the chief of staff and the head Democrat, the speaker, whoever was the number one Democrat, get them in a room and make a committee and tell them I'll do whatever they say. And so that didn't end up happening.
Yeah.
The second time he won the presidency was a moment for me too as a kid, because he won and it was just this dun, 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 that every time a president won and Nixon, this whole thing. And then when Reagan won the second time, he wasn't with balloons. He was in a hotel room, and footage you can find of him, and they cut to all these Republicans cheering, and they cut to him and Nancy on a couch watching on a TV, holding hands, and they look really upset. They're just sitting there, and he's literally going like this. And it may have been performative, but the signal was, I have to do it. It's my duty, but I don't want to do it. This is a grave responsibility. Yeah. He took it seriously, and he was frowning when he learned that he won. And that was a big character moment.
Yeah.
By an actor.
Of course.
But nonetheless, it was a big deal.
A lot of it's acting. A lot of these guys.
Yes.
And that's
Reagan. And then Bush ran against Mike Dukakis.
This is where I'm starting to become somewhat cognizant.
I don't
remember. I barely remember Clinton. Bush Clinton is like the first election I remember being like, yeah, fuck
that's
Clinton.
Amazing to me. That's amazing.
Fuck Clinton.
Well, because I remember, that's so funny.
Yours is Obama. I remember
that's so funny to me.
Bush's W's inauguration. That's like the first political thing I remember.
It's incredible to me because Clinton was a sea change.
Yeah.
Because Bush ran against Mike Dukakis, who was the governor of Massachusetts, where I was from. So he was our governor. And he was running against Jesse Jackson in the primaries. And Jesse Jackson was just like killing. He was out there making these speeches. People loved Jesse Jackson. What's that?
Is that Hymietown?
Is
that Jesse Jackson?
He called New York Hymietown.
Was he in like the garden?
Yeah, I think he said it to like Hymietown. Yeah, he called New York City Hymietown. Yes, he sure did.
I like that.
And so Jesse Jackson attacked Cedric the Entertainer many years later for a character he played in Barbershop where he says, fuck Rosa Parks. I'm sick of hearing about Rosa Parks. It's a really funny scene where he's a black guy saying, I don't give a shit about Rosa Parks. And Jesse Jackson said he never should have said that. She's you don't touch this woman with your humor. And he's yelled at, and Cedric, who was a religious guy, and he was upset. And I was pissed off at Jesse, and I just did once in a while I do this kind of dumb thing. I called the fucking the Rainbow Coalition. That's his office in Chicago. And this woman answered the phone. Hello? And I go, I have a complaint about Jesse Jackson. She goes, who are you? And I said, I'm just a citizen, and I don't agree with what she said. And he says, he don't care what you think, young man. And she hung up.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, because, sometimes I've called the White House like 4 times in my life and said, hey, and they say, yes, tell me the thing. And they politely take it down. I called Trump when Trump was like not conceding the election.
Yeah.
I called the White House and it was deep into it.
Yeah.
And usually it's like, hello, White House. It's a switchboard
You're
operator.
calling the White House?
And you say, I want to make a complaint. And she says, yes, I'll put you through. And they either, they give you a voicemail or they put somebody who just writes down, thank you very much. They take your comment and you just figure it's one of a trillion. But when I called Trump's White House, some guy, you could hear a loosened tie and unshaven. Some guy goes, hello, White House. And I go, hi, I want to make a complaint. He goes, what? I want to make a complaint. He goes, look, please just go to the website. Can you just go to the website? And I said, are you okay? And he goes, not great. I swear to God, I had this conversation. He goes, not great. I said, okay, well, I hope you have a better day. He said, thank you. I do appreciate that. So it was at that point, awesome. The White House was in a place where it was like, Trump's like, somebody get the fucking phone. The fucking phone is ringing. And there's like, nobody's left.
It was the end of Wolf of Wall Street.
Yes,
like,
everybody,
the dudes were falling apart.
It was nuts. But so Jesse Jackson was running in a great comedian named Barry Crimmins.
Wait, I can't believe you're calling the White House.
I call the White House occasionally. Yeah. I call radio talk shows sometimes. I called a radio talk show and spoke to John McCain on the phone once on the radio.
Yeah, what'd you tell him?
And he was in New York campaigning
Dude,
for Bloomberg. He was campaigning for Bloomberg
Yeah.
to be mayor. Bloomberg was running against Mark Green, who was a firebrand, like anti-establishment guy. And I called McCain and I said, first of all, you should be supporting Mark Green because he's just like you. And he said, I love Mark Green. Like I got him to say, it's like, Mark Green's a great guy. But, you know, Mike's got it. Mike Bloomberg's got it. And I said, also, you should run for president. He's like, no, stop. Get him off. I was like, get him off the phone.
Yeah.
So that was my, and then later I met McCain at the Tonight Show. I was the lead guest and his daughter was the second guest. And I went and his daughter said, my dad wants to meet you. And I went to her dressing room and he was there. And I said, hey, I just love John McCain. I fucking love him. And I just saying, hey, man, I just, you know, you're really something.
Yeah.
And he said, Louis, you're the best. Louis, you're the best. And he said, I heard you did USO shows. And I said, yeah, I was in Iraq. I was in Afghanistan. And so then when she was being interviewed, she brought out her dad. And he sat down and he sat down and he said, before, and Jay goes, hey, and McCain goes, before I say anything, I want to pay tribute to Louis C.K. because he went to the Middle East, put his life in danger to entertain our troops. And how about that? And he got the crowd.
Wow.
First thing out of his mouth.
That's fucking cool.
And he said that he wanted to exchange numbers because we both read a lot of the same books. He's a great guy. I never got to talk to him again after that. Okay.
You remember when Trump smashed?
What's that?
When Trump talked shit on him?
Oh, God, first of all, it was genius.
It's so funny.
Genius moment.
It was such a funny.
You know, the thing about when you get to the schoolyard, you look for the biggest kid and you punch him in the nose. You might get your ass kicked, but no one else will fuck with you. Yeah. So in the politics at that time for Trump, it was like, who's the most loved? Who's the most loved man in American politics? John McCain. I'm going to call him a loser. I like the guys who don't get shot down.
Yeah.
You know the guys who don't get shot down are the guys who avoid who don't do their jobs.
Yeah.
Piece of shit.
No, it was a
Brilliant.
good joke. Great joke.
Brilliant.
I mean, great level of shit talking.
So,
people calling somebody a war hero and being like, I mean, he got captured.
I mean, that was one of those.
What a fucking
Trump
loser.
had so many moments where I was just like, oh my God.
That was one that was the
and
one.
Again, from the backstory of every detail I remember about all these guys. But anyway, let's wait.
Yeah, let's go here. We got George.
I mean, we got
Herbert Walk. Yeah, we got.
Okay.
Let's skip H. Oh, this one's too. Damn. Skip HW. Fuck it.
Okay. Herbert Walker Bush.
CIA. Evil. If you look into everything they've done.
He engineered his whole life to become president. He had Reagan shot, and his father, Prescott Bush,
Kennedy.
Prescott Bush, was a senator. And he traded with the Nazis. Like, he got censured by the Senate for selling goods to the Nazis back when they were. There's a lot of Americans making money selling shit to Hitler.
Yeah.
If you ever go to 30 Rock, where
I was almost there, yeah.
You were almost there. But then you said something terrible. Just terrible. Shane, how dare you? I just remembered. Get out of my house. Oh. Shame on you, Shane Gillis.
I like my SNL cast
Shame on
who
you.
Didn't get cut.
I worked at Conan, which is in the same building, and the producer is Jeff Ross, not Jeffrey Ross, the comedian. This is the producer, and he was really interested in history. And he said, "You want to see something cool?" And he took me into there was a stairwell in 30 Rock, and he took me in there, and he pushed my head down. There's these big red pipes in the stairwells that are feeding the sprinklers. I don't know what they're. Big iron red pipes that have been there since 30 Rock was built back in the mid-late 30s by Rockefeller. And there's a big spigot coming off of the side of one of them with a big, wheel. It's some release valve. And on the side of it is a fucking Nazi, like an embossed Nazi, and it's raised, it's not painted on.
Oh, it's in the, yeah.
It's a swastika. And he said, all of the steel in this building is Nazi steel. It's all German. That was
What
the
the
flag.
fuck?
It wasn't a political flag. Like it was a political
Sure.
flag, but it was also just the flag of Germany.
Yeah.
So if you bought German steel, it was like made in USA.
Yeah, you're not going to
It
tear
had
down
a
the building.
swastika on it, and they bought it. And he said all of the steel in 30 Rock has swastikas on it. But at one point they turn them into the corners, but they can't turn these spigots. So every time I used to go to 30 Rock,
Holy
like when I
shit.
hosted SNL, I would take anybody who didn't know about it and show it to them. But the last time I went there, they had shaved it down. Somebody got in there with a thing and shaved it down.
Holy shit.
But so that's how fucked up. So that's Prescott Bush was one of the guys making money on Nazis. And then it's Skull and Bones guy.
yeah.
George Bush, H.W.
Skull and
Bush,
Bones,
Skull
yeah.
and Bones. But he was a kind of a Nixon-y thing where I think he went too far. He got Reagan shot. He just went through too many fucked up things.
He was CIA, man.
Yes, and he was
head of the
supposed
CIA.
to run. He was supposed to win. But this is when I started to believe in this country. Was when Clinton ran for president, because, and again, not based on politics even, but how dug in Reagan and Bush felt. And Bush just felt like, you ain't gonna beat this guy with nothing. These guys are in, and there's Dick Cheney in there, and Donald Rumsfeld. These fucking guys are like, these are hard ass fucking guys who don't bleed. You just don't believe they bleed. And they got it all worked out. And they've been there for 12 fucking years.
Yeah.
And here comes Clinton, whose mom was a blackjack dealer in Vegas and whose dad died in a 3-inch puddle. He died. He was drunk and he hit a tree and was launched out of his car and landed in 3 little feet of water and drowned in it. That was Clinton's dad. And then that was Jefferson. His father, his name was.
Was that his real dad or his stepdad?
His dad's last name is Jefferson.
Yeah.
It would have been another Jefferson. That was his real dad. His mom then married a guy named Clinton.
He changed his name.
And had
for him.
Roger. And his mom, and that guy used to beat the shit out of his mom. And the second Clinton got big enough, one night his stepdaddy came home drunk, and he stood up to him and he said, if you hit my mom again, I'm going to kill you. And he used to protect his little brother. And his little brother was like an orphan. His dad's a drunk.
Yeah.
So the dad disappears. And the day that Clinton turned 18, he was already in charge of the family. The day he turned 18, he took his brother to City Hall. And he said, you know what I'm doing today? I'm changing my last name to Clinton so that you and me are real brothers. That's why his last name is Clinton.
Yeah.
That's who Bill Clinton is. Okay? And he fucked a bunch of 10-year-old girls on a jet.
He also fucked those kids. but he did. That's the problem.
I don't know, man. I have no idea. I don't know. It wasn't my pussy. It wasn't my pussy.
It
so
wasn't
I
mine,
can't
but
report.
it's not looking good.
Oh, it's not looking good at all.
I mean, he took
I don't know.
lot of those.
Listen.
He loved the ladies, which
I know
we
nothing
can't knock
about
a
it.
guy for liking ladies, but
Those aren't ladies. Those are babies.
no, I meant his reputation.
Look, I don't know. I don't fucking
Outside of banging the kids, his reputation was
love the ladies.
Lewinsky and the other
Sure.
lady.
So Clinton, but Clinton was this fucking country good old boy, and they threw. And I mean, we had just lost Gary Hart. He was. That's why Dukakis ran,
Yeah.
because Gary Hart got caught with a chick, and so that was Democrats' problems. Is the
They're getting too much pussy.
Too much pussy. And so
Going
so
against
Clinton
Bob
shows
Dole.
up, and the first thing that happens in New Hampshire is fucking Jennifer Flowers. And but then there was this feeling that it was a kind of a circus. And I remember Howard Stern's guy, Stuttering John. Do you remember him?
Yeah.
Stuttering John, Jennifer Flowers' first her press conference, it was like a serious thing. And she's like, yes, I did have sex with him. And then you heard Stuttering John say, are you planning to have sex with any more Democratic candidates? and she laughed, and everybody laughed. To me, that was the moment where everybody was like, who gives a fuck who he fucked? Hillary stood by him. We did the interview with him and with Barbara Walters. A light fell from the grid and crashed on the floor right next to them. And the Clintons hugged, and they were both crying. So it was like they were under a lot of stress, and one of them died, and and Barbara Walters saw this and told everyone the story, and so it was like everybody started to love Bill Clinton, same as Oliver North.
You ever look at the Clinton body count?
What's that?
How many people they've killed?
Oh, you mean Foster, the guy from
he shot
Travel
himself.
Office?
Didn't he shoot himself twice? There's a bunch of guys who shot themselves twice in the head, stuff like that.
I don't know, but the
This is the only history
Dick
I
Cheney
know
shot
now.
a guy in the face.
Dick Cheney, yeah, but that was fun. He was having fun with it.
I know. I'll tell you about that. But so Clinton made me feel like I can't believe this. They just got rid of the Bushes.
Yeah,
They got rid of Cheney. They really like in my lifetime that didn't exist. The idea of that. So I was pretty fucking impressed. Likewise with Obama later. But so that made me think, maybe this is actually some kind of, and then later you learned that Clinton and Gore together learned how to go for business and tell big business, look, we're going to make you a fortune. Don't worry about the social issues. We're going to take care of the poor. We're going to do all kinds of programs, but we're getting rid of he got rid of welfare. And he was also a death penalty governor.
Yeah.
He put a retarded guy in the electric chair. He put a retarded guy in the electric chair when he was governor. He literally just he was drunk and he just said, come here. And he's like, what are you doing? And he just took him and he put him in it. And he said, never mind, just fucking shut up. Killed a retarded guy single-handedly. Clinton, I loved Clinton when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I loved Clinton. Just loved him. And I remember when Coretta Scott King died, her funeral, he closed it. I think Jesse Jackson was there. Every president was there. Everybody, past president, all the greats came to make speeches. And then Clinton wasn't, George W. Bush was president now. So Bush went before, but he let Clinton close. They all made speeches about how far we've come and the importance of Martin Luther King, and then they'd make a comment about her. It was really about Martin Luther King, and then she was a great woman. And Clinton just fucking talked. He went up there and he leaned on the podium and he said, we're all talking about a lot of stuff here, but there's a woman in that box. He literally pointed at her dead body. There's a woman in that box.
Fine, beautiful.
A woman
supple.
who had, he said, she had dreams. She had passions. She was, and he said one word that sounded a little sexy.
Yeah.
And look at her kids, and what are they gonna do? They're already dealing with their daddy's legacy. That's a burden on them. And it was a burden on her, and now it passes to them. And my God, what is it like to be them now? And you just hear people going, "Oh, that's what Clinton just had that ability." And he fucked so many children, just hundreds of them.
But he did fuck those kids on that island.
On the island of Kid Fucker.
What was
Where
he
do you go?
doing?
What else are you gonna do on that island? What are you gonna go to that island and just stand by the Pepsi machine and just,
Trump went there.
look at your phone?
Trump only hung out with the staff.
Totally.
That's true. And it is funny the politics I have instilled in me.
Yeah.
I just remembered I hated Clinton. Just
It's
I
fun.
was
just loved him.
I was 8 or however.
I
I was like 5.
I was in New Orleans for a film festival. I'd made a little shitty short film and it won Best Comedy at the New Orleans Film Festival. And I went down there, and this was back when you had to send a VHS of your movie, and then you'd get it on the mail. You'd get a letter. I got a letter in the mail saying you won an award. So I went down to New Orleans. I was a kid in 1992. So I wasn't a kid. I was 18 plus 7, whatever that is. 25 sounds good. I went to New Orleans and I'm just walking around a park, and then this fucking bus pulls up with Clinton Gore on the side, and they just get out and start a rally, and there's people just started showing up. It was like at some park, and next thing I know, I'm at a Clinton, and Al Gore comes out and he says, the governor can't talk because his voice is destroyed by all these rallies, so I'm going to make the speech. And then he talked, and then
it's kind of
we're going to turn around. So it was just boring.
Yeah.
And then Hillary came out and said a few things. Nobody cared. And then Clinton came out, and it was like, "Oh, he's going to talk." And he was and he was a little hushed, but he made an amazing speech. And I was standing there, and I watched him make this speech. And then he came down off the podium, and he just walked. I stood there. Some guy handed me a placard, and so I had this placard, Clinton Gore. and he found me and there was this lady next to me, and she had a throwaway camera. That's how long ago this was. And she goes, can you take a picture of me with the governor? So I took a picture of her with Clinton, and some guy took a placard and put it in front of their faces, and he swatted it down. He said, what's wrong with you? Screamed at this guy, and he said to me, take it again.
Oh my God.
So I took another picture. Clinton. 8 years. The king of the world. Unbeatable. Gets Monica Lewinsky. Gets impeached.
The crime bill, though, that wasn't great.
I
Wasn't it him?
Yeah, I don't fucking care what these guys do. Just a super interesting guy.
It's funny. It's just funny to speak at
Crime bill.
Coretta's funeral and then be like, crime bill.
Yeah. I don't know. So Clinton and Gore's vice president. And one of the fly on the wall moments, like the thing I wish I was there for, is apparently somewhere Clinton and Gore had to do an event together. And this is when Clinton needed to tell Gore that he fucked Monica Lewinsky, because Gore backed him up.
Yeah, everybody believed it.
Yes. When he was saying, like, let me tell you, we got to get in the business. I did not have sex with that. I did not have sex with that woman, Miss Lewinsky. And we have, like, he slipped her name in. So he sat in a limousine with Gore, apparently, and said, I fucked her, it's coming out. And Gore was like, well, gosh darn it. Jeez, Bill. I mean, it's like you're doing it to me on purpose. My God. And they just sat in that limo and they dealt with it.
Yeah.
There's another fly on the wall moment with them later on September 11th. Gore was in Canada. He was flying in Canada and his plane was grounded and he couldn't fly into this. Nobody could fly. So he got a car. He rented a car because they're all losers now. And he drove.
He's a fucking loser.
Yes. And he drove to back to Washington, but he stopped in Chappaquiddick and he got there like midnight. Chappaquiddick. What's the name of the Chappaqua? Where the Clintons live. They live in upstate New York.
Yeah.
Chappaqua. He stopped at Clinton's house and they sat in the kitchen apparently till 3 a.m. just talking. That I wish I could have been in that room
just like,
for that.
damn,
on 9/11.
We could have got him.
Yes. Yeah. So,
Do you remember that guy?
Which guy?
No, this is them sitting in the kitchen
Yeah.
like, holy shit, it was
Yes.
him?
Yes. Exactly.
Hinckley?
Yeah.
He did it?
Exactly. So Clinton gone, and then Gore and Bush, and you had the crazy. I mean, I'm getting tired, so it's hard to get into like
Sure.
Bush's the hanging chads.
Yeah.
And Bush was another like, this is going to be a nightmare. And I remember here's what I hated about, because I wasn't predisposed to hate Bush, because I heard he was like a compassionate conservative. That was the word on Bush.
Yeah.
Compassionate conservative. And I could read on him that he was a kid of my generation or just above, that he was a post Summer of Love guy. Like, Clinton loved saying that he had, what's her name? Madeleine Albright. And, but Bush had black people and women in his cabinet as a matter of like, he's like, why wouldn't you? Like for Bush, it stopped the bigotry of the Republican Party. And by the way, Democrats, tons of it also stopped because Clinton was like, you got to have a couple of darkies in there. Otherwise people get mad, and the gals are good. It's not a bad thing. It helps you. But Bush was like, Condoleezza Rice is fucking amazing. She's going to run everything. Colin Powell. So I liked Bush in that sense, but I remember he was interviewed about foreign policy, and he just sounded like a fucking idiot. He didn't know anything. He knew nothing. And then he took a day and crammed and did it again. And then they were like, what about North Korea? And he goes, okay, so North Korea, you got Kim Il-jung and then in the South, those, and he just answered like that, like real quick. Canned answers. And I remember they cut to Wolf Blitzer, and he's like, well, that's really impressive. Clearly he does know about foreign policy. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? So Bush was president, September 11th,
That was the first president I remember. All the kids my age hated Bush. Mm-hmm. So then I liked him.
I get that.
All the kids were like, he's evil. He's going to ruin the country. And I was like, dude, he's awesome. It just made me like him.
There was a woman who made a documentary about riding the bus with him. She was one of his press people, and she brought a camera, and I forget what it's called or what her name is, but she was kind of kind of a ooh, gee whiz.
Lenny Riefenstahl.
But there's a moment in it where she took a poll. She was like kind of a goofball, and she was with the press corps on his plane. And she went around and asked everybody, who do you think is going to win? And the press all said McCain. I think it was in the primaries. So McCain was starting to lead. And so it leaked through her. Someone leaked that because she was just doing it privately for fun. Someone leaked it that his press corps thought he was going to lose. And it was really damaging. And everyone threw her under the bus. Everybody in the press said it was her. We didn't do it. And then nobody would talk to her. So while they were on the plane, and this is, I think, on film on the thing, she's sitting there just devastated. And Bush comes, which he never did, back, and he sits right next to her. And he says, I want you to take a good look around at these people, because now you know who they really are. He said, now you know who your friends are. Now you know who they're not. So don't forget this moment, because this is really just don't let them forget it. Yeah. And you forget it.
There was a guy, I forget the name of this guy. He was, might have been on Rogan. He was on there and he was talking about how he was like a Muslim extremist. He got arrested after 9/11 in Egypt. You remember that? I don't know if it was Rogan. It was Rogan. He was great. He was incredible. But he had sat down and talked to a bunch of presidents. And Rogan was like, who was the best one? He was like, W seemed to be genuinely compassionate.
I do believe that. I believe that he had a conscience. And
then he was like, did he do anything about it? It's like, no.
Maybe not. Yeah. Again, what all these guys did and how much of it was their fault, how much of it was the deep state, whatever it is. I don't know any of this stuff.
Yeah.
But all I'm going by is my feelings about the guys. And there's moments about W that I remember because politically I hated him. The whole thing with the Patriot Act, all this kind of stuff. But and Iraq, it was shocking. So many people died.
Did you know Iraq was bad at the time?
When the towers were on fire, all I could think of was this people in the desert that are going to die who had nothing. Like we're going to overreact and we're going to kill so many people. And we did hundreds of thousands of fucking Iraqis that we killed.
Yeah.
We're just fucking had nothing to do with it.
Damn.
Nothing.
See, I was in 8th grade. And I was sitting there like, whoever did this is going to get a fucking knuckle sandwich.
Well, Bush had a great impromptu moment.
Dominated after that. Like
when he was on when he was in Omaha going like, I don't know what this going on. He looked bad. It looked like this is bad. But then he went to fucking Ground Zero, held a megaphone, and someone said, I can't hear you. And he said, well, I can hear you. And the people who did this are going to hear from all of us. That's pretty good fucking ad lib.
And the first pitch at the Yankees game?
Yes, also. But easily, he could have said, okay, then you're going to yell, I can't hear you. Of course, Of course, it was probably Cheney. I can't hear you. Cheney, by the way, was really the Bush story. I was doing Charlie Rose, okay? And me and Charlie later, our lives changed. But Charlie Rose at the time had a very important show where you'd sit in a dark room and be interviewed. And so I went to do Charlie Rose, and the guest ahead of me was Jill Cheney, Cheney's wife. She is a historian, and she wrote a book about Madison and the framers. And he would just ask her questions, and she's a fascinating woman, fucking brilliant historian. And she talked ad nauseum about all the people we did in the first one.
Yeah.
And I was just riveted. And then they brought me in as they were taking her out. And I was just trying to, like, she's not my world. And somebody said, we just need your microphone because we need to give it to the next guest. And she said, who's the next guest? And they said, Louis C.K. And she said, Louis B.K.? Louis, where is he? Where is he? And she turns around and I'm standing there and she goes, you're Louis B.K. And I'm not going to correct her. I go, yep, I'm Louis B.K. She goes, oh my God, my grandchildren love you. We're getting a picture. You're going on Twitter with me, son. Come here.
What?
And you can find this.
A picture of you and Liz Cheney?
Picture of me with Liz Cheney.
Jill. Liz is the daughter.
Well, she called me Louis B.K. So fuck her. But so we took a picture and she tweeted it.
Damn. I wonder if Dick ever watched.
I have no idea.
He's probably like, this guy's kind of an asshole.
This guy's kind of a piece of shit. But yeah, so that's Cheney. and
Bush and 9/11.
Bush. And then after Bush was president, I told this story on Conan. I'm not going to tell it again. That's fucking boring. But I saw Bush. I was in traffic, and then his motorcade just was next to me. And I looked and I saw him through the window of the SUV. And I'm just another like Dole-like moment. I'm like, fuck Bush. But I look at him and he goes like this. And I'm like I just couldn't help it.
Of course.
Of course.
Of course. You have to.
Yes. But the thing I liked about Bush was that when the guy threw shoes at him, do you remember that guy threw 2 shoes at him? He got 2 shots.
Yeah.
Talk about fucking
Lee Harvey
Oswald
got him.
getting 2 shots with a Bolt rifle. This guy got 2 fucking shoes off. With the fucking at a standing target with the press all around him and his Secret Service are right there. He threw his shoe, Bush ducked, and then he threw another one, and Bush ducked. Because
Came
in the
back
Middle
up
East,
smiling.
yes, throwing shoes is the most insulting thing you can do is hit somebody with one of your shoes.
In America, you know what the most insulting thing you can do in the Middle East is?
What's that?
Kill everyone.
Kill all of them. Kill all of them.
I wonder if he was thinking that
Yes.
when he ducked. He was like, ooh.
I killed a lot of your family.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I'm about to hit your wedding for this.
So bad. But Bush, they asked him about it afterwards, and he said, well, I got good reflexes. And he said, look, he's in a country where you can, he's not going to get killed for that. And people express themselves. He always appreciated freedom of speech. He always appreciated, he never minded being made fun of.
I think that guy went to jail.
I'm sure he did, but
yeah.
When Bush was made fun of, he took it very well. When he was he would go on SNL and read jokes that were just devastating against himself, and he did them with really good timing. And
he was funny.
He was a funny dude.
He was funny.
And he got why that was important. And I remember he was debating Gore, and they did a typical thing they do in debates. They tell each other the bad things. So he told the moderator, said, Al Gore said this about you. And he reads some shitty things Al Gore said. And he goes, what's your reaction now that you're with him? And Bush goes like, I don't know. He goes like, he's running for president. He goes, of course, he's going to go for it. He's running for president. I mean, it's the game. We're trying to win. We're trying to, we have different views. He didn't care. And later also, they asked him about the press. And he said, we counted on the press to keep us honest. He said, when you're out there making decisions that are outside of the decisions that come to the president are the ones that nobody knows what to do. The ones that are clear what the law is and what's practical, other people make those decisions. They go to the president where they're like, we're not sure what's legal here. And we're not sure what the American people would want here. And so it's the hardest job in the world because you have to deal with the cutting edge of where the country is going, why it's going there, and what people really want, even if they don't know what's going on. And what's legal, it's so unclear sometimes. And he said, I depended on the press because we knew they were probing everything. We knew they were watching everything, and we knew they were adversarial, that they were ambitious to bust us. And that made me comfortable because it made me confident that I'm not going to, in my confusion, make any real mistakes. Like that's a profound thing for a president to say. And it shows the level of confidence that he had, which is why he did not like Donald Trump, because he didn't have that. To be made fun of is a place of strength. I can't take you seriously unless you don't take yourself seriously. If you're a person to be taken seriously, then you can be made fun. If you can't be made fun of, you can't be taken seriously. If you're like, do not make that joke about me, it's like, you're a pussy. You have no confidence in yourself. You need to hear good about you all the time. That is a mental and emotional problem. So Bush didn't have that to me. And I appreciate him for that. He killed mountains of Arabs, just mountains of them. And other people, and who knows what else he did. I don't fucking know. But interesting dude.
Yeah.
And the way he reacted to Obama winning was cool.
Yeah.
I like the way he handled that. And in the middle of that, you got another connective tissue guy, which is McCain. McCain was a great, great man, I think.
Those clips of him when he's debating Obama and someone's like, he's a Muslim. And he's like,
he goes,
don't say that.
You got to stop. He was like, he took the microphone away. She goes, he's an Arab, this lady. And he goes, no. Give me. He says, listen, I don't agree with the guy about how to run the country, but he's a good man. We're starting with that he's a good man.
Yeah.
And then there was a lady who yelled out during Sarah Palin's rally. She said, "You need gloves to touch him," which is a
Holy
weird
shit.
But it's like, what does that mean? Like, he's very delicate, or
it's the most racist thing I've ever heard.
but also, why do you want to touch him? It's almost like she's like, I want to touch him. Why do I have to wear gloves? But so that was crazy, and McCain handled it as best as he could. There's another McCain thing. Fuck. Oh, he had a great story about Obama. Because he met Obama when Obama was in the Senate. And someone asked McCain, what was your first impression of him? So he said, well, I remember when Obama, his first day, like in the Senate, he came to see me. And he said, listen, I think that, you're the smartest guy on the other side, and I want to be bipartisan. And he said, let's you and I talk and find something that we both care about. Like, that was Obama's first idea. And so McCain and him they talked for about an hour, and they came up with something they both cared about. And he's like, let's work on that together. And McCain said, sure. And he was a veteran senator at this point. And Obama goes off, and then the Democratic leadership gets to Obama and goes, dude, you don't just fucking do that. The fuck are you doing?
Mm.
And then he saw McCain in the hall. Obama was like, he just pulled the plug. And so the interviewer asked McCain, you have a bad opinion of him? And he goes, not at all. He said, it was a rookie mistake. It was a rookie mistake that he thought he could just do
to think we could get
what
something
you want.
done.
And also the way he handled the getting out of it was rookie. He said, but I knew that he had a good heart. This is how McCain was such a guy. He was running against the guy, and he kept praising him. But so Obama, we're almost there.
We're so close. It's going to be dark. Obama. What do you think, man? You like him?
I loved him. I just loved him from the get-go. And I could tell that he was a lot of flash on some level.
Yeah.
But one of the first things I heard about him that impressed me was Biden. Biden said he just getting to know him. He said, I got to tell you, he's a really surprising, bright guy, for a black guy.
Yeah. Well spoken.
It felt like that a little. But Biden was like, he said, I got in a phone call with him, and there was three of us on the call, and then Obama jumped on. He said, I have 4 questions for this group. He asked his questions. He gave his comments, and he got off, and I was like, that guy has got a good mind. That guy's got I do think Obama had a mind that got around the president. He got his brain around
Yeah,
him.
I think so.
And the picture of him leaning down so some kid could touch his head, that's as important as almost anything with the president.
You ever see Trump put the candy bar on the Minion?
Put the candy bar on the what?
There's a Halloween. They're doing the Halloween thing?
Yeah.
And just a kid in like an inflatable Minion costume comes by, and he's like, he just puts a candy bar on his head. He's like, get out of here.
Obama.
Obama was a great speaker.
And he gave people a feeling about where the country was, and he brought a feeling to the presidency that there was a kindness in it. And I learned a lot from him in terms of confrontation. And like, he debated with McCain, and McCain was just kind of like bulldogging him. And Obama knew that you don't win in the room. You don't win because he says you're right. He's never going to say you're right. There's other people watching. Like, I've learned from this in my life. Like, this guy's going, and Obama would say something, and McCain would attack, and Obama would just go, all right, and just look at the camera and smile. And people at home are going like, I like what he said better. I don't need him to attack this guy to make the point. I like the sound he's making better than his sound. It's not about who wins this. And McCain being like a military guy, this is his way.
Do you ever get to meet Obama?
I never got to meet Obama, but I was in Washington, and I was a big deal at the time. And I thought maybe I could meet the president. I was staying at the Hay Adams, which is across the street.
You call him? You call the White House?
So I called my publicist. I no longer have one of those. I used to have an agent and publicist, and I don't have none of these people anymore. But I called my publicist and said, "Do you think there's any way I could meet the president while I'm in town?" As I was on the phone, I saw Marine One taking off, and he was on hold. Then he came back and said that they said he just left. But they said, they said that Obama asked to ask you if you would help them come up with jokes for the correspondence dinner, because it was in a few days, and they're meeting to try to write it. And they asked if you come across the street to the White House and pitch in. And I said, of course. So I went into the White House, and they gave me a pass. And I went down to their little room. The White House, the rooms that aren't the Oval Office are all shit, because they keep packing, because government never stops growing, but the White House stays the same size. I mean, that's my idea of it. But I was literally, I had to duck into the room because the ceiling was so low. And it was like his head speechwriter. It's John Favreau or something, weird, same name as John Favreau. But anyway, so we sat in his office, and I pitched jokes. And I got one in. He opened with my joke, which was, because it was his last one, and Trump had won, so it was his swan song. And my joke was, it's an honor to be here for my last correspondence dinner, probably the last correspondence dinner. And it turned out to be true. Trump,
you were close.
Do him. Yeah, Trump.
They just did the first one.
Yes. But anyway, he did that. He opened with my
I was
joke.
hoping you didn't write the one that made Trump the president.
No, that was before. Yeah, it was before.
Yeah, you remember that?
No, I didn't. Yes.
That's one of my favorite clips of all time.
Oh, I mean, Obama was so good.
It's
He was
him
such a good.
destroying Trump in front of everyone.
and
You just see
Trump's
his,
just sitting there. I'm going to be fucking president.
You see
You piece of shit.
it's pretty good.
Yes, it is.
I do respect those moments, just like Cheney in the movie.
Sure.
Where they're like, you got to change it. And I was like, I'm going to do it.
Yes.
It's a cool, like watching Trump sit there with his fucking hair just bobbing while everyone's laughing. It's like, all right, we'll see. We'll see.
Laugh at Trump. See what
See what
happens
happens.
when you laugh at
I'm
Trump.
a
And that's, by the way,
fucking
what he
psycho.
was thinking was
Yeah.
literally the words, laugh at Trump.
Everybody's
will you?
laughing at Trump.
Don't laugh, because he talks about
Yeah, of
he talks
course.
about Trump. So Obama wrote me a letter saying thanks for helping, and
Holy shit.
I'm a fan, and maybe we'll meet someday. But I never met him.
Yeah.
And he went on Mark Maron's podcast, and they talked about politics for like 2 hours. And at the end, Maron asked him, "Did you enjoy being on the show?" And Obama said, "I thought we were going to talk about comedy." And Maron was like, "Oh," because he talks about politics everywhere. And he goes, "Oh, well, who are your favorite comedians?" And he says, "Well, I like Jerry Seinfeld and Dick Gregory, but the guy I really love is Louis, because you can tell, even though he says terrible things, he's a good guy." Something like that. He said something nice about it.
Damn.
Meant a lot to me, because I just, with no regard for history or morality, I just love Obama.
Yeah.
I have no idea if he's done good or bad, but as a guy, I just really, I dug him.
Yeah. He seems like he's just an incredible speaker, and he was like what a president should be.
That's right. Just
on appearance.
Carrying the office, and
Yeah.
the way he operated and the way he communicated. And things started getting really fucked up during Obama in this country. People started to get really,
the banks. I mean, that was
insane. All that shit. But also, just like, the word problematic happened under Obama. Like, his last 4 years was when people started getting ultra sensitive and trying to dig down into where is our moral center, to the point where you're just never going to find it, because human beings are flawed. And that started, I think Obama left in a strange place, because it was like, what were we all doing? I remember seeing famous liberals saying, "I'm disappointed in this president." I'm like, when he was running, Shepard Fairey did the cool poster of him, and Wyclef, whoever the fuck, did a song in black and white video. But once he's president, everyone's like, it's not cool to help the president.
Yeah.
So they all just vanished. And he's like, "Hey guys, I'm the only black guy even here. I'm not just the first black president. I'm the only black guy at this level, and no one's helping me." I mean, that's how I felt, was that he got kind of abandoned, and he couldn't find, and Congress became weird. But I don't know anything about this.
Yeah.
Again, that's not my expertise. My thing is, I just really, I really dug the guy as a person and the way he carried the office. And he was another example where I was like, that feels like a democracy. And a lot of people would be like, "Well, then you're deluded." Fine.
Sure.
But I'm 54, and that's how I feel.
Yeah. That was the first election that I remembered. it seemed to start to get really polarized.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember when he won,
Yeah.
people I was with were upset.
Yes, that was,
and that wasn't even close to where we got.
that was the first time I remember the world being that there were people who hated the president. That was the first time. I mean, Reagan, my mom was upset, but one thing I'll say, I know we're getting
Yeah, we're good.
So
Obviously, we're gonna close with the dog.
So my mom really surprised me twice in terms. My mom died a couple of years ago, but she was like my best friend and my intellectual counterpart. She's who I talked to about everything. And I remember, first of all, when John Kerry ran for president, I called her up because I have 3 sisters, and my mom and I basically controlled the household vote. So we figured we're super delegates. We have 5 votes.
Yeah.
So they just, because my sisters would vote for whoever we said. My mom was a Republican and a conservative as a kid. And then Jack Kennedy came to speak at Michigan, where she was in college. And a friend of hers grabbed her and said, "You're coming to watch Kennedy." And they sat in the front row with knitting, waiting while the crowd gathered. And then she watched Kennedy speak from this close. And she was a Democrat from that day on. But when I called her and said, "So we're voting for Kerry?" She said, "I'm not voting for that guy." I was like, "What?" And she said, "I won't vote for him. I won't vote at all. Because I can't vote for Bush, but I can't vote for that man because my brother was in Vietnam and we were scared every day that he was going to die. And Kerry came home and spoke against the troops. That's how we felt." And she says, I know now, I look at it differently now, and that he was trying to do good, but it just left a bad taste in my mouth. He was a rich kid and my brother wasn't. And he did one tour, came home and started, grandstanding while there's boys over there getting killed every day. And he was pulling support out from under their feet.
Yeah.
So I can't do it. And I'm like, "Mom, there's more to the story." She's like, "I know, but you can't make me vote for the guy."
"Mom, you have to vote for John Kerry.
You have to vote for John Kerry," who was a fucking, I mean, he's still alive, so I don't want to say, but geez, he had lipstick. He was like, "I report for," he was a mess.
Yeah.
And then his fucking wife, Teresa Hines, "I am Teresa Hines, and I have something to say." It was like, we're done. We lost.
Yeah.
Fuck him. And also, by the fucking way, take that part out.
Oh, wow.
I'm actually, it's
What?
the one part I want out.
Okay.
About so I feel bad because people make mistakes. But
Okay.
when Bush was running against Kerry, a thing that came up that was big was gay marriage. It was starting to be an issue. And I got really angry at John Kerry then because Bush had a really sound argument. It wasn't, and this is when people started just lobbing names at each other, right? It's anti-gay people. It's homophobic to be against gay marriage. Bush made an argument that was practical. He said, "Listen, marriage is the easiest contract in the whole world." And by the way, during that time, they weren't talking about national gay marriage. They were talking about the states that had started to
it was like
legalize.
Massachusetts.
I think California.
Yeah.
So he said, marriage is the simplest contract in the world. It costs $10 most places, and it's ironclad, and it's accepted all over the world as meaning the same thing. Now, if you start messing with that and you start saying, "Well, this means this here, it means this there," you're messing with an institution that is the backbone of the family and this country. That is such a good argument. Now, you can argue against it, and people have very well.
Yeah.
This is nothing to be afraid of. This is about their rights, all kinds of things. But the Democrats didn't want to say, this is their right. Why would you, the thing you just said, why would you deprive gay people of it? You're living in a time capsule. This is important. Yeah. It's the same as they said this about interracial marriage. It's a million arguments. But Kerry didn't want to go there. He was like, "Look, it's a man and a woman to me, but I don't think but they're homophobic. They don't like gay people. And Cheney's daughter's gay, and I don't have a problem with Cheney's daughter being gay." They did that.
Yeah.
Edwards did it. Edwards said, because Cheney and him debated. He said, I think it's great that his daughter's gay. I think that's great. What do you think of that? And he expected Cheney to have a bad moment. And Cheney, who's a very complicated guy, said, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I love her. Oh, I mean, they just won right there. So go. I don't know how I got back to him.
We're at the end of Obama into Trump. Oh yeah, this is like I was saying. Like I remember when Obama beat Bush or Romney. That was the first time I felt like, oh, this was like totally divided. Because towards the end of Bush, everybody hated Bush. Like that was divided. Half the country,
Yes.
really hated him. Like bands were coming out with music against him. Like
that's why. Because I was saying people hated Obama so much, and it's when I started feeling things coming apart because I had that moment about Bush. I was against Bush as president, but I could see where he was at. And then the other thing it's because of my mom. So when Obama was running, I'm like, we're in for Obama, right? We're doing Obama. And my mom said, I'm not voting for Obama. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? She said, I'm not voting for him because he picked Joe Biden as a vice president. And Hillary Clinton had nearly beat Obama in the primaries. And she had done an incredible campaign. Her campaign was historic because she was the first woman to run effectively for national office and to get that close. It was a big deal. She said she won, and she also remembers when she was younger that typically the guy running for president, his running mate would be his rival. You pick your rival because it's your way of saying, I'm not afraid of my rival. I can work with the people it's how you unite the party. It's what Reagan did with Bush. It's what Kennedy did with Johnson. Johnson was bitterly hated Kennedy, and then Kennedy subjugated him by saying, you're going to run with me. We're going to do this together, buddy. And I'm not afraid of your rivalry because I'm strong, right? And he said he didn't pick Hillary and she earned it. And he gave it to Joe. And the name Joe drove her crazy. She didn't care about Biden was fine. She said, Joe Biden's a regular guy. And my mother worked her whole life. She was a single mother. She says, I worked my whole life. And me and women I worked with would earn the spot and it would be given to Joe. Just some Joe who smiled and knew how to work it.
Yeah.
And the woman who earned it gets fucked. And the reason I hate him for it is because it means he has no balls. My mother said this. Obama has no balls because he picked a guy. He didn't want to pick her because he's afraid of women. And he's afraid of a strong woman. And she said, I'll never vote for him.
I think he was afraid of losing.
She did not use the N-word.
I think he was afraid of losing.
So, no, I don't think that's what happened. But here's what's cool about it. McCain picked Palin. And then my mother said, I'm going to vote for Obama now for the opposite reason, which is McCain picked Palin as who's an idiot, a douchebag, a retard, who I personally love now. I'll get to that later, but you know what I met her? Did I tell you? I met all these. It's crazy how many people I met. She said he picked McCain to get the woman's vote.
Yeah.
And you're not going to get a smart woman's vote by picking somebody like that. So I'm voting for Obama. And then later I checked in with my mom when Obama became president and made Hillary Clinton Secretary of State, which is a far more important position than I called my mom and I said, you got to give that to him. And he didn't run on it. He didn't say to the women of the world, I'm going to give, he didn't tell anybody. He gave her the job because he thought she had earned that job to actually do.
Yeah.
Not just the bullshit political position. She said, yes, I'm with you. And she ended up loving Obama. But Sarah Palin, amazing person. Amazing person. I mean, when McCain announced her and she spoke her first national speech and did the joke about, the difference between a bulldog and a hockey mom? Lipstick. And the place is going ape shit.
Yeah.
I was like, this woman's incredible. She was an incredible force in American history to me. And I was on an airplane one day flying home from LA and I got drunk on rum and coke. When I drink rum and cokes, it's like being on acid. because you get a lift from the sugar and the caffeine, and rum is a fucking,
Yeah.
it's a mental drink, rum. And I start tweeting. I didn't know what Twitter was. I didn't understand what Twitter was. I just loaded it on my phone. I had about 5,000 followers. And I wrote something like, I want, there's a family of Chinese people living in Sarah Palin's cunt. That's the only tweet I remember.
Yeah.
I want to fuck her tits with my father's cock. That's what I said. I just started tweeting
tweet.
about her.
Solid tweet.
And then, solid
It's like a
tweet.
Legion of Skanks fan.
And my Twitter followers, it's just going up. By the time the plane landed, I had 250,000 followers. I didn't understand what that they look at it on their phone.
Yeah.
I thought they go check the website and they look at my name. I didn't understand that people are getting like a phone call and seeing what I said and then sending it to their friends, and it's just exploding. Yeah. And then I get a text from Sarah Silverman who says, I have a friend that works at the White House who says you should probably stop. You're getting yourself in some. And then the publicity head of FX wrote me and said, we need you to stop this. I didn't understand that everybody was reading it. I'm like, what? And I'm drunk. And I'm like, so what? Anyway, I was hired to host the Congressional Correspondents' Dinner. It's right before the presidential one, the White House. And Greta Van Susteren said on CNN, I'm boycotting that dinner because that pig, Louis C.K., said these things about Sarah Palin. Also, the woman who testified for Congress to say that college students should have their abortions paid for, Sarah something, Rush Limbaugh called her a slut. He said, we're not going to pay for you to have an abortion because you're a college slut. And so all the Democrats were like, that's terrible that he called her that. But then Bill Maher called Sarah Palin a cunt and gave $1 million to Obama with a giant check. And then I said that she has Chinese people living in her cunt. I didn't call her a cunt. That's different. And I was going to host the dinner. So I found out, I called my mom. I said, I'm being boycotted. She said, get out. Call them now and say, you're not doing it. So I got out.
Oh,
I didn't do it. And I dodged the thing and it got weird and ugly. So I'm at SNL 40th anniversary and Sarah Palin is there. And I see her. I'm in the audience, which is all famous people, like the Rolling Stones, Jack Nicholson, all of the SNL that ever was, but also just the most famous people in the world. I was there presenting something, so I was there. And I look up, and I just see Sarah Palin looking at me like this, like just looking at me. And I'm like, fuck.
Oh, shit. She knows. Oh, shit.
So... and earlier than that, there was a documentary made about how much people hated Sarah Palin, and it was a big conspiracy. And that documentary was directed by Steve Bannon. And I was in it, saying something about her. And my lawyer told me, and I said, well, tell him to take it out because they didn't have my permission. So he called Steve Bannon, and Steve Bannon said, well, I want to interview. He wanted to interview me. And I said, no, just leave. You can have the footage, but I don't want
Yeah.
Okay, so Sarah Palin, I'm at the SNL party afterwards, and she's standing right there, and she says, my nephew is a big comedy fan, and he said I have to say hi to you. And I said, I'm sorry. And she said, what? I said, I apologize. I said, I wrote some really awful things about you on Twitter. I would never apologize to
Of course.
the world, but this woman's standing in front of me.
Of course.
I said, listen, that's not what I do is like attack people. And I don't know if it hurt your feelings, but if it did, I'm really sorry.
Yeah.
And she said, well, that's really something. I really, really appreciate that. She said, if you ever come to Alaska, come and go ice fishing with me. And I thought, I might get to fuck Sarah Palin. And so she wrote a book and she put a chapter about me, a little chapter about me. And she described that moment faithfully about how I came up and apologized to her. And she said, of all the things that all of the people said about me, the terrible things that were ever said about me, he's the only man that has ever apologized to me. So that's my Sarah Palin story.
Yeah.
But okay, so Obama and
Well,
then Trump.
wins, and then Trump.
The seminal Trump moment that made him matter to me was the debate with the 16. He had 16 guys, 8 on his left and 8 on his right. And they were, I mean, Chris Christie, fucking Lindsey Graham, fucking Bush, Jeb Bush.
Low energy.
I mean, just these guys, but without him on stage, they're all stars. They're all stars. Yeah. Fucking Ted and fucking
Rubio,
Wisconsin guy.
Kucinich?
No, not Kucinich.
Was it Kucinich?
Kucinich is an Ohio guy.
Yeah, but he was
a Democrat. He was a Democrat who was like an anti-war Democrat.
Oh shit!
No, he was like a super liberal Democrat.
No,
little guy.
Who's that weird looking?
Kasich.
Who's the weird dude that was Romney's vice president nominee? Wasn't he a Wisconsin guy? Ryan?
Oh yeah, Paul Ryan.
Yeah, but he wasn't up there.
No, he didn't. He didn't run.
Yeah.
There. By the way, just to
Huckabee.
get Romney for 1 second, because I didn't like Romney.
Yeah.
Because he was a venture capitalist with what do you call the fund? Those funds. Hedge fund. These guys ruined capitalism. Capitalism used to be make the best of something and make a ton of money, or make the second best and kneecap the guy who makes the best. And which is fine. That's why we had VHS instead of Beta. Beta was better, but VHS just went after Beta and won. That's why we had IBM instead of Apple for a long time. Apple was better. And it's, by the way, why we have records. The grooves go up and down, which is stupid. They were better side to side, but that guy, that patent it's just bullshit. Romney, never liked him until the whole fucking Capitol riot thing happened. And then he did that thing where he stood up in the middle of that crazy shit after January 6th, after the riot. And he said, I know all of you are trying to serve your constituents by telling them what they want to hear. But why don't you help them, the people who you work for, by telling them the truth? And the place, it was this raucous applause. And he looked at the applauding people. And it reminded me of the Reagan thing because he looked at them like, why is that getting applause? That's just normal. What has happened to this country? So Romney's an interesting guy to me.
Yeah.
Because of that.
I never really liked him.
I don't like him, but that was an interesting moment. That was human to me. And he kept his dog on the roof of the car. It was hilarious.
But he did do some...
He would drive with his dog on the roof.
What?
I mean, the dog was in a box. It wasn't like...
He just he seems like the establishment to me.
He is the establishment.
And so like
never had a shot.
He always tried to stop Trump.
Mm-hmm.
So of course, no matter what he did, even if it
hated Trump.
Yeah.
But the moment that made Trump matter was when he was in that room and he said, these guys are all crooks. And I'll tell you how I know, because I'm a billionaire, I'm a businessman, and I give them all money and the Democrats.
Yep.
And if I call them, they pick up the phone.
Yeah.
If I call any, and they're all like, you can't tell
people.
What
are you doing?
I was just sitting at home like, what just happened?
Yeah.
That moment was just like you could hear the country go, what the fuck is going on here? And every time he spoke at those debates and you just saw those guys
less and less
peeling off
whoever was closest.
Sides, and you saw him turn and you saw him reveal what people were. Over time, also. Yeah. I remember Lindsey Graham saying, after Trump said some really super fucked up thing, I forget which one, Lindsey Graham said, for any of us looking for an off-ramp, this is probably the last one. And I thought, wow, Lindsey Graham's got it. Lindsey Graham gets it. And boy, I mean, that guy, what he revealed about Lindsey Graham and how fake he is and how full of shit he is incredible, because Lindsey Graham announced to the world that this guy is a crook, he's abhorrent, that he's against everything that he's for, and then he defended him and he loved him and he just kissed his fucking ass.
Every one of those guys.
They're just so full of shit.
He was up there destroying Chris Christie. Destroying him. He ruined his political career. Chris Christie was supposed to be something.
That guy I think might be president.
And then
I think Chris Christie might be president.
I think
Chris Christie has had a journey, same as Nixon did. Nixon was toast. He had to give a speech on TV saying, "I'm keeping the dog that I shouldn't." He had to give the checker speech, and then he ended up being president twice. It didn't end well. But Chris Christie has had a fucked up life, but he's also had a real, like his, drug addiction in his family. That he gave one speech about drug addiction that was like off the cuff. That's like one of his best moments. It was passionate. He's another guy that I met, barely. I was walking in an airport after he'd washed out of the election, and I was in an airport, and there was Chris Christie alone with his big suit and his Hudson News airport bag with like a heavy drink and snacks in it.
Soda.
And he was just walking and he saw me. And I think the recognition was just like, we're both pictures on Twitter. And he just went like this. And he just went like that. And he just looked sad in the airport. But then I saw him on Bill Maher recently. And he took some tough questions. And he sounds like he
did all right.
He's got some grit to him. And he's got some complexity and some dimension. And I think he's digging his heels in and thinking about what he believes now.
Because there was one, I think it was right after him and Trump, obviously, Trump killed him. Mm-hmm. And then he's standing on stage with Trump at another rally. And Trump's like, you can go. He introduced him and then was standing there. He was like, you can get off the fucking stage.
He was being as brutal as Trump was.
Yeah.
To the people around him, including Giuliani, who used to say, shut the fuck up. To Giuliani, he curses at him in front of everybody.
Yeah.
He shits on all these guys. Now, that is an incredibly fast and powerful engine. To be Trump, you just shoot to the top. But it's unstable. It's like Caligula. It's the same fucking thing. He's everybody around you hates you a little more each day.
Yeah, it's Jackson.
Yes, and also no goals. No real goals for the country. Just a win-win-win, which can get you to win to a certain degree, but there's a limit to it. I'm not talking morally. No. I'm talking about what works.
Yeah.
And I think that he's come to a critical place. I don't know if he'll win again.
I don't even think he's going to run.
I don't think he'll be president.
I think DeSantis is going to run.
But
I don't know anything.
No, but when he was running,
I'm sitting here like, you know who I think? I've got my eye on. The governor of Florida. I don't know a fucking thing.
I don't know either. And I think that his win changed everything.
His win changed everything.
And
maybe for the better.
Everything has both sides.
Yeah.
Every single change that comes to your life has both sides, good and bad. It has pain and healing. And if you resist pain, you're not going to get the healing. If you try to freeze the moment of happiness, you're going to miss the sad on the other side, which you need. You need it. Otherwise, you're not living in the real world. But the thing I would have said to we were just talking about Trump. The thing about these guys is this is what I think about Christie. Okay, he's got an idea in his head of who he is and what he believes in. That's what I feel when I see him talk now. And that's what these guys are usually missing, the ones who lose. Like, I used to watch American Idol. Love that show. I love any show that's like emotional. So
yeah.
I watch Deal or No Deal. I used to watch that all the time. You ever watch that show?
Yeah, it was great.
I was watching Deal or No Deal because I was depressed and I didn't want to change the channel. And I was just staring at it. And it was a Marine who was during the Iraq War. He was in New York on leave. And they talked to him. He's got all his medals. And he says, I'm a little bummed because my family lives in San Diego and I don't have time. I'm only here for 2 days. I go ship back out. And so, of course, Howie Mandel goes, well, they're here. And we flew him out. And his little girl, is crying, and he takes one knee just like Nixon did in my dream. And he hugs his little girl. She's crying and he's crying. It's huge.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there, I'm starting and my lips trembling.
Of course.
And then they do the crazy Deal or No Deal, which is America.
Fucking losers.
Just keep going, keep going, keep going. And there's always this moment where they're like, and the guy's going, oh my God, this is it. You've got $250,000, but you could get 10 million. And the guy's like, oh, and then he goes one step too far and the lights come on and it's depressing.
Back to Iraq, motherfucker.
Yes. Well, that's what usually happens.
Yeah.
But whenever somebody hits, I'm going to take, everybody's going, don't, keep going. He goes, no, I'm stopping here.
Yeah.
They always go, oh, thank God.
Yeah,
Thank God. I
couldn't
they help
clap.
Myself.
Yeah.
So this was one of those moments. He had a ridiculous, if you know the game at all the little baskets were gone. They were all retired. he had like one for 10 million over here and whatever crazy numbers, and then one that was like $5, but 8 of them were good.
Yeah.
And he had something like $250,000 on the thing. And everybody's saying, go, go. And he tells them in his military way, quiet. He says to his little daughter, you understand what's happening here? You understand how likely it is, how good the odds are that if I go one more step, I could get more money? I'm not doing that with your future. And I was sobbing. I was just such a good man. He's such a good man. But I was talking about that because something else just like that. I've lost my mind at this point.
Yeah,
Do you remember how I got to Deal or No Deal? I was talking about
Trump, and we were talking about fuck.
I had a point.
What's his name?
Good.
Christie's talking.
Oh, American Idol.
Yes.
Whenever they sing a song on American Idol,
This is crazy.
I know.
This is crazy.
I know. And Simon and them are asking them,
We
like,
fast forwarded those fucking first 10 presidents, and now it's just like American Idol. This one time.
whenever they sing a song and Simon says you were a little pitchy or whatever,
Yeah.
the thing I always want them to ask these kids is, do you know what that song's about? Do you know what the song is about that you're fucking singing? You know, like Clay Aiken, one of his big hits was Bridge Over Troubled Water. And he sings like a bridge over troubled water.
Yeah.
You know what that song is about? It's about like when you have nothing, when your life is shit, when you're down and out. I will lay myself down like a bridge over troubled water. You can walk on me. Like that's a profound and deep thing. Another one was a kid who sang I hear a train a coming.
Yeah, Folsom.
Yeah, and he's singing it like this. I hear a train coming.
Yeah.
Woo! It's coming. He's literally between going, woo! It's coming around the bend. And I see the sunshine. That song is about a man who murdered somebody just to watch him. I shot a man in Reno just to watch him die. And the sound of the train, because he can picture the cigars smoking. I bet they're smoking big cigars. That it tortures him to think of the freedom. He goes, I know I got it coming. I know I can't go free, but I hear the whistle blowing, and that's what tortures me. And he says, if I had all the money in the world and I was a free man, all I would do is move that railroad a little bit further down the line so I wouldn't have to hear the whistle. Like all he asks for is that the train was a little further away, that good life was further away. And this kid is singing it like it's grace because he just wants to win. He wants to be a winner. He wants to be loved. He wants to connect with the audience. To me, that's Trump. To me, the great presidents have been guys who are like, when I got an idea, I know what I'm singing about. I know what I'm about. I know for Clinton, it was the American people. He said it all the time. I don't think the American people want that. Like he was connected because he was a son of a Vegas blackjack dealer. He was an American. When Obama was president, he was an American. So to me, Trump changed the game in a way a lot of people could have and didn't. But I think it's got limited legs. And I never thought, I think a huge mistake that the Democrats made was to shit on the people who loved him. That's a dumb fucking
they can't stop doing it.
Basket of deplorables.
They can't stop doing it.
It's just the stupidest thing you can do. The thing that progressives do that I've never seen in all of these years we've talked about, never seen a political movement do, is assign people to the other side.
Yeah.
What Clinton did, what anybody running for president, Nixon did it. You could see examples of all of them when they talked, like, especially when they started doing town halls, which was a great addition to it. They would say, somebody would stand up and say, I don't want to vote for you because I'm a Democrat and because I think you're, whatever. And they go, okay, tell me, what does that mean to you being a Democrat? Yeah. Well, the economy is very important to me and healthcare, and I want people to be taken care of when they're older, sick. And he goes, I'm afraid to tell you, but you're a Republican. That's what people do, is like, come here. I've got the same. I'm like you. You're like me more than you understand. Now, and they hedge it. They go like, now I don't agree with my opponent's bill for healthcare, but I have the same concern as you do about healthcare. I have the same values you do. We're like, you should vote for me. But what progressives do is you actually say to them, I'm a progressive.
Yeah.
And they go, really? Prove it. Well, I'm for gay marriage. What do you mean gay? What do you mean marriage?
Yeah.
You are a Trump. They like tell
Yeah.
other people that they belong to Trump. They give him, they push people away.
They pushed everyone to him.
Because the goal is not actually to win and to change the country, which is a ugly, difficult, to really change the country is a gray, difficult, boring, bureaucratic, unsatisfying, slow business. And people want to be able to make it happen like this. I can just, and they're not trying to make something happen. They're just trying to feel, they're trying to show what they think and perform what they are and just get it. And they're addicted. It's a sickness. I feel sorry for them. I don't hate people like this. It's just that they're sick. They can't stop this thing. If this doesn't bark, they start feeling sick inside. So if it's not barking, they bark at it so that it'll bark back. And that's on both sides.
Yeah.
That's everybody on the Trump side. That's everybody on the progressive side.
Yeah.
It's sick. But I feel I'm skipping over Trump because I think the whole country has been in a fevered nightmare for all the time he was president. And he was the perfect president for the time we were living.
Yeah.
He was, all the people that hate Trump that really hate him are exactly like him. And they picked him. CNN and MSNBC refused to talk about any other Republicans. Like, I wrote a dumb thing that I never should have written about Trump. And the point of it was pick a real conservative. Like, I'm not a conservative generally. I am about some things. I mean, look, if I go to a smoothie place, I don't pick one of the like cool blue or the berry. I like to make my own. That's the way I am politically. Like bananas with some spinach and some, agave. Okay. So that's the way I am politically. But I think I wanted to say, if you're going to pick a conservative, pick a person who's going to really talk about conservative politics. There's a lot of value in that. And then let's have a real debate. Trump wasn't that to me. He was a psycho, weirdo fucking salesman, and he was extremely effective, fascinating, had his finger on the pulse of the people, knew how to run a rally, and then would get in his helicopter, by the way, and buzz them because he thought it was funny to watch them run in fear. He's a screwed up dude.
Nah,
But
he
the
did that because it
country-
was cool.
it
He
was
did that
like-
because it was cool, and the people down there were probably like, yes.
No, he's
Bro,
like scaring them.
Here's the thing. With Trump, to me, he's just a result of where we were politically.
He was a result.
He's a result. He's not the cause. And then to watch the way the left kicked and screamed the entire time he was in office, and they got their way. They got their way. And that's what bothers me, because there's a part of me that's always like, look, I'm glad he's gone so we don't have to fucking fight every single day. That was annoying. But then it's like, do I want to reward the side that fucking cried every day when they lost? Do we want to reward them with an actual result, which is they got their guy who happens to be dead?
Well, I guess
Like,
what I
I
think
don't
is
know.
the only way you get out of nightmare moments in history, which happen all the time.
Yeah.
They come and they go and they come and they go and they come and they go. It's just constant. And every time you think this is all over, like I used to tell my kids and people, around me that were really upset when Trump won, hey, that's how we felt when Reagan won. And, we got a lot of good after him and even some good out of him. And I like when people are afraid of, we're afraid of terrorism. I mean, that was all anybody cared about.
Yeah.
After 9/11. And I remember telling people, everybody was like, we're all going to get blown up. This is going to be the end. There's going to be many more 9/11s. And that's what we thought about nuclear war. That's what we thought about. So these kind of things do happen cyclically. And I think that the only way you get out of them is by giving up on our side, your side. And I see people doing that. I see everybody doing that. I see it in the way what you do on stage. I see it in the way when you first, I remember this is the way I tell myself the story. You would go to the Comedy Cellar and you want to tell some jokes about your dad. And you'd say, my dad is a Fox News guy. And they all go, boo, because it's their place. It's New York
Yeah.
City. And they have no shame just booing a
Yeah,
guy.
just booing my dad.
Boo! Boo! This is definitely the right move. Boo! And you would take it with your red Irish half retarded face, and you would just take it and get angry. But you'd swallow the anger and you'd continue talking about your dad. And it was hard. And you kept going to these. And you're not being Theo Vaughn playing in the South. You're in New York City. Nothing against Theo Vaughn, but you're here. And then one night you said they booed. You said, my dad's a Trump guy. I mean, he's a Fox News guy. And they said, boo. And you said, hey, all your dads are Fox News guys. And they went, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
And you said, and guess what? You want your dad to be a Fox News guy. And you found this common ground with them. And the thing that SNL really fucked up by not having you on there. And by the way, you wouldn't have been able to do what you do on SNL.
Of course.
But if you could have been your version, the thing that you do that's great is that you make fun of Pennsylvania, Fox News, Trump world because they're your family and you love them and they're part of you. And yet you hate them. You want out. You're growing up. And so, but you know how you can only make fun of somebody.
I'm going back, dude.
You can only,
it's growing on
you
me.
can only make fun of someone if you love them, if there's love there and you know them. And, Seth, fucking Myers and Trump.
Oh, God.
There's no fun. Their jokes are crafted, but I don't give a fuck.
And it's all like it's us versus those idiots.
Yes, that's not fun. It's fun to watch a guy go, this is my dad. Listen, you want to know about, you want to know what's really flawed about a Fox News guy? Listen to the stories about my dad and unfortunately, you're going to like my dad.
Yeah.
You're going to like him. And that mix, that being able to go you fucker, but, and I can't get, you and I probably disagree about almost everything. But I can't get your sound anywhere else. I can't get your sound of humanity anywhere else. So I think that all this time drove us apart, and then we got lonely. This is a human story. You want to get away from people that you think are hurting you, and then you miss them so much, and then you come back together, and we'll do it again. But I do believe, and again, I do think that Trump he ran for president every election. People are like, where did this? He could have, the country decided it's time for Trump because we lost our minds.
Yeah.
But he ran. I remember he ran one year, and he got a shot. He did a town hall, just one-on-one with some big Chris Matthews, and he said, "Well, what do you think of the Republican National whatever?" And Trump said, "They're just retarded." And Chris Matthews was like. And I was like, did he just say retarded? Because they're just so retarded. And nobody took him seriously.
Yeah.
He ran every 4 years and it would just be like, stop it.
There's an interesting
Trump's,
thing
give me the fucking break.
with Bannon.
But what? Yes?
Bannon there's a YouTube video of Bannon doing an interview about Trump and finding Trump and he's taking a lot of credit, but the populist movement, which is Jackson, just being there's something here. We can do this. This guy has a...
Well, he failed them too, by the way. The thing is, Trump's magic was an absolute perfect narcissism. Like a crystal fucking diamond, just perfect, no flaws narcissism. And at an age where that was the country, everybody... And something was invented under Trump, I feel, which is... Or maybe it goes all the way back to everybody who's ever been a big, crazy leader, is narcissism in the collective. That people are obsessed with one person and they can't hear anything against them and they don't give a shit what happens as long as the person wins. That's sort of, he came at a time where people were obsessed with personal attention, with feelings, and they just were in denial about what's going to happen next.
Again, he was a result.
Yes.
He was a result of social media. He was a result of how America is acting. And he was also a result of the left being complete fucking dickheads. And it was more fun to be I want to watch Trump win and watch these fucking people that openly hate me. I want to watch them cry when Hillary loses.
I understand
it was the same
that.
thing.
I understand that. And I felt in agony every minute that he was president and I hated it. But I understand that. I understand why people dug him.
I look. I didn't
I
vote
get
for
it.
him. I didn't vote for him. But the night he won, I was doing an open mic, and I was like, "This is fun." I got to watch all the fucking alt comics literally cry.
Listen, when I was
and I was happy.
I was on tour when he won, and I
Yeah.
was in Dallas the night he won, or the night after, the first day of him being president. And I said, "Hey guys, you know all this stuff about problem because everybody was into problematic and writing think
Yeah.
pieces about, this and that." I was like, "So this is what you did. Thank you."
Yeah, this is where it got us.
This word that was my feeling back then. Was like, this is what's happened. Is that there's no conversation going on anymore. Nobody's really defending liberal politics, and there isn't a real conservative running. It's just a shit show and a piece of shit won.
The right can
show.
just put out a guy that goes, "Aren't they fucking crazy?" and do well because of how crazy the left is.
I think the next thing that would restore the country is a fucking normal conservative, a normal Chris Christie.
Yeah.
Just a normal fucking dude. Because there's no Democrat. First of all, they're all behind. There's nobody even thinking.
Yeah.
There's not. But at this point, it's 2022. The presidential election is in 2024, and not one Democrat is talking about running. So it's going to be Biden, and
It can't be.
it feels.
It literally can't be.
I think it literally can't be too. So I don't really know what we
Kamala
got.
or
And it's such a mess over on the Democrat side, but it can't be these guys who are just pushing whatever button that day. I'm going to go against the liberals on this because that's what they're mad about today. It's got to be somebody who goes back to just regular. And I don't want a conservative president, but I believe I live in a democracy and that the president should only sometimes reflect my values because I'm a part of the country. I'm not the whole country.
yeah.
So if I lived in a country where I love the president my whole lifetime, that would be fucked up because I only agree with about 38% of the people in the country.
Yeah.
So that's, to me, the what is the test of what a president should be? Is it that he should be compassionate, strong, all these? To me, what he should be is a representative of the people's will. Remember this thing that I said. He is a president. He presides. Like when they talk about, like real intellectuals talk about it, and real press guys, they say you are president. They don't say you're the president. They say you're president. And Obama used to say, when it comes to president, he didn't say being the, he would say president. Because it's a verb. You're presiding. Like I said, it's a simple job. Trump always talks about leader. When you're a leader, you're not a leader. You're not a ruler. You are presiding over a process. You're presiding over a process of equals deciding things together. You're supposed to be just one of the people who was chosen to step up and run shit for a while, being told by this group of all we also voted for what to do. That's what the legislators, and then these 9 people who are looking after, making sure that it's supposed to result in the right thing and keeping the tiller in the right direction.
Yeah.
But it's a humble position. That's why I don't think it belongs to a guy like him. I think it's fascinating that he took it for those 4 years, and they fucking impeached
Stole
him
it from
twice. If you impeach somebody and they win, it makes them stronger. I mean,
Yeah.
Clinton proved that. It's just so fucking stupid.
If it wasn't for COVID, he'd still be there.
I don't know. It's hard to say. He really was running hot, and he didn't give a fuck. And that's just something's gonna get you. Same with Nixon. Same with Caligula. Just something that you left because you didn't care. Same with Putin. I mean, these guys who just they create a ball of energy that shoots so high, but it burns everything around them. And when they need someone, if you stay in politics long enough, you're going to have a moment where things aren't good. And you look to your right and somebody's like, fuck you. And you start to take a dump into the ground. Now, if you get your hold on the mechanisms hard enough, get rid of, to me, the thing about Trump is that he had no respect for democratic process. To me, the thing on the left is they have no respect for liberty. This America is about democracy and liberty. Okay, it's about that we choose amongst ourselves and that there's a working, fair democracy. And it's about you can say what you want, you can believe what you want, you can be who you want, you can have the identity you want, you can be anything you want, and no one. And the great American ideal is leave people the fuck alone. That's the one they forget. It's not about like say this, say that. It's about leave folks alone. Let people do what they want. And the left forgot that. They don't give a fuck about freedom of speech anymore. They don't get how stupid it is to shut people up and how quickly that's going to come around and kick you in the ass. Same thing with Trump. If you just wield authority like this, say fuck democracy, no one's going to have your back.
Yeah.
No one's going to be there to make sure you're doing the right thing like the press is supposed to do and doesn't do anymore. So that's, to me, the two sides have fucked up those two principles.
And that the problem is both those sides are correct to point the finger at the other side.
Yes, that's
and
why
be
it's
like, this is why we're fucked up. That's why we're fucked up.
That's
and they
why
just
it
won't
becomes,
stop.
That's why it becomes a looking glass, because they don't understand each other. And yes, they are right about each other.
Yeah, they're right.
They're right about each other. The left is right about Trump, and Trump's right about the left, and all the people that are left, and so it's a mess. But the thing I count on is just human spirit, human nature, which is that we like each other. I think, and we like to laugh at each other, and everybody knows that they're full of shit. Everybody knows. It's the thing that's sad about the phone to me, and this is the last thing I'm going to say because I'm losing my mind. Can I say this last thing?
Finish this.
You get on a subway train or on a bus or on a plane, and you look at another person, and there's that weird eye contact thing. You're like, ugh. And you look at a person, and you kind of hate. We're reptilian. Like I don't fuck that guy.
Yeah,
he's competition or whatever it is. But you look at a person and you go, he ain't that bad. And then you see him look at you, and you see yourself through his eyes, and you think, I ain't that great. These are these two very important parts. He ain't that bad. I ain't that great. And you get that from eye contact and personal contact, and through forced, you just around people that you don't love, around people that that aren't like you. That's why I've always loved New York City, because it always used to feel like that. But with this thing, you don't have to ever have that moment. You just looking into this, and it keeps this magical algorithm keeps telling you more and more of what you want to feel. It doesn't give you any. It keeps you from any resistance. Kids get out of college and they just feel like idiots because they go in the world and nobody cares what they think. But they start to get stronger every day they meet with resistance, and also they start to hear shit they don't believe in and believe some of it. You know what I mean? And their world expands. But this thing takes you into a smaller world every day, smaller and smaller, further away from other people. And everybody, instead of learning and growing, everybody's becoming retarded. That's where Trump came from. And I don't know what's next. I really don't. I don't know what they're going to do. That's all I got.
Hell yeah.
Please don't post this.
Deleted.